It was a great surprise. I think just a great feeling of accomplishment, not for us, but for the league. I was working at home, and I got a text message from John McCutcheon that just said 5, and I went like I was dropped everything, and it was great. Still had to wait for the TV show to come on in about an hour to figure out which 5 and where we were going. But it was, again, just a great testament to the quality of play in our league. Well, our success really starts with our television partners. It opens up such a tremendous avenue for recruiting for our coaches to be able to have kids see their program. It keeps the connections going with alums and with fans that they now expect to be able to may not be able to make that trip to New England or down into Virginia from the New England schools, but they're able to watch the games. The biggest part of it is the simultaneous carriage that we have with Sportsnet and with the Comcast network, that our New England games are on in the Mid-Atlantic area. Mid-Atlantic games are on in New England. And so, again, that's more expansion of our brand geographically rather than just kind of your own backyard. Well, I think that FCS generally, has. I guess my goal for the league would be that we would have programs that start in the 25 to 30,000 type of attendance. That we have the great rivalries now, historic rivalries. That you can have a level of football that isn't the mega 80,000 seats, 100,000 seats, and you can't get close to. Those games are major productions, and you're at arm's length. I think that this level where you can, it's not an expedition to get to a game. You can get to the games. You can spend time tailgating with friends before and after. It doesn't take 4 hours for the parking lot to empty afterwards. And just kind of build on that and build on some good solid kids and programs and what they represent for their universities and for themselves. Yeah, I think most of my colleagues in the FCS understand it a little bit. I mean, we've had programs that have been pretty successful in the past. We have some great brand names. I think what they're, I guess, impressed by what we've been able to do with television, particularly. But at the end of the day, all that stuff is just smoke and mirrors if you're not winning in the playoffs. The thing that I think really distinguishes us and solidifies the reputation is what we're doing in the playoffs. And we're putting 5 teams in, but they're not stubbing their toes. For the last 4 of the 5 advanced, and are taking out. Richmond beat 4 other conference champions, and they were the third place team in our division, in the Southern Division. So that kind of satisfies all the questions about where things are, because we're winning on the field, and that's the ultimate measure. Well, I don't know about it. We've had, it's been interesting over the last year as we've looked at expanding the playoffs and things like that. Just some good-natured comments from the other commissioners about, some different things. That, hey, the only one it affects is the CAA. Why don't you ask him? But that runs in cycles. I've been in this too long to know, don't get too cocky, because that can all change in a heartbeat. And, you enjoy the moment, but you do it again. Everybody's 0-0 out there, and you got to start it all over. It's a new season. It was, we were up in Harrisonburg for the Montana game. Doug Doug Fullerton from the Big Sky was there, and there was just great disappointment. Obviously, we drove through the night, got to the airport, flew out to northern Iowa, sat, we're there, and Richmond was behind. It was pretty significantly in the fourth quarter. And so all the things we just talked about, all the hype and everything else, you sit there going like we could go for a goose egg here. We have two of the Final Four teams. We could get shut out. So there was, I was every bit as ecstatic as Mike and the Spiders were, to pull that out, because there was a, credibility thing there. And then the best line I'll remember, we were probably in the middle of the second quarter or something. Richmond's really taking control of the game with Montana. And Denny Pope from the NCAA turned around and said, Yeags, is Richmond your conference champion? I said, no. And he said, well, did they win your division? No, they didn't. I said, they were third in the division, which just, I think, again, kind of runs to the quality of play in the league by a number of teams. I mean, we've had 7 different teams in the playoffs the last 2 years, and that speaks volumes about the depth of the league.